What's good people? Welcome to Whole Views. Thank you for clicking that thumbnail. My name is Corey, and today we're going to be talking about The Last of Us penultimate episode 8. We're going to see and discuss all the things that happened. And honestly, truthfully, I want to tell y'all that this is my most anticipated adaptation in the first game. I wanted to see that character of Dave. I wanted to see Ellie sneaking around that lodge and fighting off Dave and seeing if they would go there with the potential rape scene that it seems like the game was setting up, and it was slightly hinted at. It wasn't deep that they went into it. They went there, and I'm happy that they did. So in talking about this week's episode, I really like the way that the episode was resolved. It was a slight change to the games, because in the games you have Ellie almost successfully fighting off the Dave character, but you don't get the full payout that you get here in the show. In the game, I think Joel comes through in the final moments where Ellie has just starting to take advantage, and like she's stabbing him a few times, but she's not actually gonna totally win the fight. And Joel comes in and he's the deciding factor, if my memory serves me correct. I'm not certain if I'm getting that right. I do believe that's how it played out, and I do believe that's the change from the game to the show. I like the fact that they let Ellie be big enough, strong enough, and determined enough to solve this situation by herself without leaning on Joel to come in and save the day. Because Joel and his whole situation in this episode is incredibly unrealistic. It's one of the more unrealistic things that we've seen here in the show. The fact that he was on his deathbed looking like he wasn't going to make it. And then by the time the episode ends, he's taken out about 4 capable, healthier men. That part was, man, y'all doing a bit too much here with Joel. I expected him to make a bit more of a recovery before he was able to be so capable in hand-to-hand combat. Now, I say hand-to-hand combat, but he didn't square up with any of these guys, right? Put your dukes up, take blows, give blows. He kind of snuck up on people and put people in dangerous situations where they didn't know what was going on around them, and he snuck upon them and got the better of them. And that's cool, that's fine. But it is kind of a stretch that he was able to do such amazing feats of violence when he was about to die, like maybe 30 minutes ago in the showtime. So that is what that is. Going back to the Dave character, and one of the things that I really like about the adaptation of him is that he was a pretty sinister guy in the game. And honestly, I don't remember them going into that much of a backstory of him before getting to this very violent end that he has at the hands of Ellie and Joel in the games. But they did find a way to make this guy even more sinister, and I found that to be amazing. The fact that as soon as they showed the little community adding meat to the pot, my thought was, that's not regular meat. Me and my wife looked at each other like, why is the camera holding on this meat like this? Something not right about this. That's not deer meat at all. That's human meat. Them boys is eating people. We almost knew immediately that there was multiple things wrong with this little community. The first scenes kind of set things up to be good. Like, it sets things up to be a positive little community. They believing in Jesus and everything is good. But when they stepped outside, when Dave and his right-hand man step outside, something about their conversation just lends itself to saying, hey, something not right. Something is a little bit off. I think it was when Dave talked about seeing unbelief or seeing people shaking. It just gave off real strong cult vibes when that conversation was being had. And we get all that stuff confirmed later on. I want to say the biggest confirmation that the meat was not regular meat is when he pulled into the lodge and they drug in the deer, and everybody's faces kind of dropped and they kind of looked around in amazement and wonderment as if they couldn't believe it. And I think that's when you get the vibe that everyone there knew that they were participating in cannibalism. Everyone there knew that we didn't have enough meat to be eaten still, but we're eating. I found it to be strange. But in that moment, when they saw that deer, it seems as though characters on the inside were kind of hoping like, yes, they actually do have deer. Maybe we have been eating real deer this whole time. But I think also at the same time, deep down, those characters knew like, no, this ain't right. Something not right about this. It was a very uneasy moment, and bringing in that deer made it even more uneasy. It was amazing the way this was directed. Overall, I'm very happy with this episode and very happy with the show as a whole. I feel as though they've adapted things very well where they needed to be adapted. I do feel as though the infected is not as a big deal as it was in the games, but again, you need infected there in a game for the game to be a game. You need obstacles to constantly get past. But I do feel like the presence of the infected is so much reduced in the show compared to what you see in the games, and the source material is the game. So I'll be constantly referring to it. I just feel as though they could have done a little bit more this season. I know it's going to be a presence there at the end, but how much of a presence, I'm not sure. That's the question that I want to pose to her, and I hope that y'all come around, subscribe to the channel so y'all can be there to check out that video and drop comments about our discourse if we do indeed have it. That's all we have here for this video, y'all. I thank you so much if you watched this far. Appreciate you. Enjoy yourself, guard your heart, and go watch something good.